Welcome to the Painting Insights podcast. We have been working on something in the background.
That's right. We've actually started a Patreon channel. For the last couple of months, we've had previous guests revisit the channel to give us additional content, everything from studio tours, sketchbook tours, talking us through the process of paintings and all kinds of additional treats, which you're exclusively going to see as a patron who supports the channel.
So by supporting us on Patreon, you help the channel keep going. There's a lot of work put into this, from the video editing to the sourcing of guests. So you really help us find those guests and to put the content out.
And we have lots of content planned for the near future. So the links for that will be in the description of this video and in the description on the podcast channels. And otherwise, you can go on to Patreon and type in Painting Insights Podcast and support us that way. Thanks very much. Enjoy the video. Okay, so would you mind introducing yourself for the audience, please?
Yes, I will. My name is Yo Rühmer. I live in Germany and I am an illustrator since 30 years. And 2012, 12 years ago, I started to paint on plein air in oils. In the beginning, it was only a counterbalance to my job as an illustrator because I work exclusively digital, and I was searching for something to express my creativity because doing only commissions, it's a little bit annoying. I don't have to decide what I will show and how I will show it, and so I was searching for a counterbalance, and I started to try it to go outside with some colleagues and do some sketches, like urban sketches with a little sketchbook. But that wasn't it. It was like, it was too close to my job, because even though my illustrations are quite painterly, I do it with a pen. And so working with a pen in a sketchbook was too close to my business, to my daily business. And the expectation to myself as a pro was every page has to be perfect to be published, for example. And surely it wasn't to sit outside and paint and sketch what's in front of you with all the people around, something completely different. And I was almost disappointed of the results, and it felt like working. That wasn't my thing. But at one meeting with the colleagues in 2010, I think, there was this guy with an easel painting in oils, and I was totally hooked. I couldn't believe it. It was amazing. He did paintings outside, and it felt like he dared something nobody did before. Okay, ignoring the impressionist and everything, I thought he was a guy who discovered it. I had eyes like this, and I wanted to test it. And so the next time we had an art retreat, we go for 1 week to France, to the west of France, Argentan. And this guy named Thorsten Wolber, I will come back to him later because it's a big, big influence to my kind of painting. I didn't dare to start painting in oils. I had some oil paints from my study, still okay, because oil paints, they are still fluid and fresh after decades of years sometimes. But I didn't dare to. I thought, oh no, that's too complicated. And so I put my gouache paints with me. And the last time I painted with them was also 20 years before, when I was studying. And of course, the first paintings, don't talk about it. But what was so surprisingly for me was something happened in me. It felt right from the beginning. I sat there in the beginning, I was sitting, and I was totally in my element. I was happy, I was lucky, I was very calm, mindfulness, normally I'm a little bit this, and when I am painting, I calm down, I slow down, and I'm totally in the moment and in the here and now. And that was from the beginning, even though I struggled a lot with the materials in the beginning. And a big surprise for me too was that I didn't have difficulties with mixing, because 15 years in that time as an illustrator, painting only digital and Photoshop with a graphic board meant to me also not to mix paints, because I have a color picker and I choose my colors from a big range of colors. But my feeling, my sense for colors was trained in this time, I think. So from the beginning, mixing colors wasn't my theme. It was never a problem for me. And that was a relief, because even though my brushwork was horrible, the appliance of the color of the paint was horrible, the painting captured the mood of the landscape in front of me because of the right color themes, of the right temperatures, the right values and everything. And that means a lot to me, because that helps to ignore all the problems I had and not to be too sad with the results. But I was disappointed by gouache, because when they dry, they get a little bit dull and like dusty. And when I painted beside my colleague with the oils, the result was completely different, but the glare of the colors, the saturation were similar. And after an hour, his painting was still vibrant and mine dulled down. And so when I came back to Germany, I put my oil paints and give it a try. And even my first oil painting done in May 2012 was random hit. It was a random hit. And it was a start in my career as an oil painter, because after the first painting, it goes down. The second, the third, the 20th, the 50th, nothing to talk about. But the first painting was it. I have it here to show it.
Oh, yeah.
This was my first oil painting I ever did on location.
Oh, wow, that is lovely.
Yeah, you can see the appliance of the oil paints, the alla prima style, paint wet and wet.
Yeah.
I didn't work it out. It gets smudgy and everything, but the colors are on point.
And the composition's lovely.
Yeah, and so this was my start. And we don't have to talk about the paintings after that. The first years, it was all about being outside and paint and have fun and enjoy it, and not, it's not about, and that's still my thinking about it. It's not about the result. It's about the experience, to be outside and paint.
That's wonderful. Well, sadly, I'm going to want to talk about the in-between, because the thing which we try to do on the podcast is to try and work out, when things do go wrong, how do you correct them? Because a lot of people who listen and watch the podcast may be in those early stages where they're wrestling with the medium and trying to understand how to solve problems. How did that happen for you? How did you solve problems?
It was, in the beginning, it was a lot of trial and error, more error than trial, because I'm not the type of learning by reading. And 2012, I don't know if it didn't exist then. or I didn't found it. I didn't watch videos or tutorials, so I have to try it by myself. And this guy with the oil paintings, who inspired me to paint also in oils, Thorsten Wolber, I painted a lot together with him. And he didn't want to teach me. He's a kind of guy, very calm and very carefully. And so I think he thought if he tried to teach me how to paint in oils, it's a little bit too pushy. And on top, he can't imagine my difficulties. When I discovered something and I came to him and said, I found out why I can't paint opaque with zinc white. And now I use titanium white and it does work. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, but why didn't you tell me that? Oh, I thought you would know. And so I took the long way. I have to say I took the long way, and the learning curve were slowly, but it went in the right direction. And but all these difficulties and to find it out and to solve it by myself made something very good with me, because now I understand why it is better to do it that way than this way. And now in the meanwhile, I am teaching. And I am full emphatic with my students, because I know exactly all the struggles and why does it work? The moment it worked and not, and now not, and why? And I can see it, and I can help, and I understand, and I feel them.
Well, that's wonderful, because I think that teaching is something which takes a lot of understanding of the early stages of complication and misunderstanding at those early days. What is it that you found that your students struggle with? Is there a common problem where you found a lot of my students always struggle with filling the blank? Yeah.
It's two topics. The first topic is to paint in oils, wet and wet. The smudging thing. That you can't go over too pastos. If you do the impasto in a too early stage, it gets really smudgy. And so I want to teach to paint very loosely and not to do a drawing and fill the lines like painting by numbers. Because of two causes. The first cause is you are too slowly. You get too slowly with this. Because you are outside painting on plein air, you have to make fast decisions and fill the canvas really fast. And if you fill the lines of a drawing, you always have this little white space between. Or even if you make a colored ground of it, maybe the color doesn't fit to the location because you don't know at home when you are priming your canvas. That's the first part. And the second part is if you start with a drawing, you are very concrete from the beginning. And then you can't get loosely during painting, because it's the other way to start loosely and get more and more detailed to the finished painting. It's you are able to decide every moment, where do I need details and where can I be incorrect, or don't have to explain something, it's only a color. Don't look here, it's only a color. When you start with a drawing, you get bounded by the lines, and painting, in my opinion, is not about drawing. It's not about seeing lines, only about seeing colors and big shapes. And this is the cause I want to teach the alla prima technique, not to put paint side by side, but one over the others. And there are possibilities to fill the whole canvas in the first steps and then go over it. It's about thinning the first layers and getting oily or fat more and more. And a game changer for me was to see that you can, it's not only to apply paint to the canvas, it's also to remove paint from the canvas. If you have the problem too much impasto underneath and you can't get in above it, it's always smudging, you can remove the paint. It's no problem with oils. You can correct everything in every step. You have the freedom to change everything on your painting. It's not like painting in watercolors, which must be horrible because you can't do any corrections anymore. Or to do in acrylics, you can go above and above, but to wipe it away, it's such a big freedom, and it's a game changer for me, because before you get too struggled with one part of your painting and you go over it and you fight with it, and it feels like a big cramp, and it's like, wipe it away. Go back to the start and try it again and again. And that's a big, big freedom.
Does this relate to your experience with Photoshop, where you have this ability to move things and make
it's like Abel said.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm wondering as well, over your left shoulder, is that one of your Photoshop pieces there, that snowy landscape?
Yeah. That's a digital illustration. I can show you. No, I don't have it. I'm not well prepared.
That's okay. I'll ask you to send me some of your digital work so that I can share some of that with the audience.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. That's lovely.
Yeah. It's painterly too. And I've learned a lot. Even though I started painting in oils, it's only as a counterbalance to have some joy and creativity back in my life. But in fact, it was like a workshop for myself, because I've learned so lot about lighting and color temperatures and even composition. It was so much input. And my digital work changed completely after a while. I get more and more painterly, and in the beginning I was really stiff with my illustrations, and if I had light in my illustration, the source was always up in right, and the shadows were always down to the left, and always the same. And after beginning painting outside, I had a new sense of mood about lighting. And I found out, it's nothing new, but for me it wasn't new. I found out to tell a story in children's books, for example, it helps so much to transport emotions over the mood of the illustration. And before, the mood doesn't exist in my illustrations. And after that, they come more and more moody and atmospheric.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. That's very nice. So I'm also wondering, though, when you made the transition from digital to physical oil painting, was there any adjustment when it came to the amount of equipment that you'd need? Because you need, an easel, a canvas, brushes,
it's horrible.
linseed oil, your thinner.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
But I'm a little bit DIY nerd. I love to build my stuff by myself. I'm really fiddling with it and adjusting it and optimize it. And so in Germany, it's something special to be a plein air painter in Germany, because in Germany, I'm sure there were in every decade there were some plein air painters in Germany, but you didn't find them because maybe they are old people, don't go on social media, for example. And I think it's only most of the plein air paintings are for study on location to do final big paintings in the studio. And so I felt really alone here in Germany when starting painting on plein air, because I didn't find anyone else except my colleague. And there was a handful, but some of them they didn't want to connect with me, or it was difficult. And that's why it was also difficult to get the stuff. We don't have Jackson's art here in Germany to buy some crochet box or easels. It was really, really difficult. And so I didn't want to order in the States because I want to touch it before they are really expensive, those big crochet box. And so I built my own. And that was fun, annoying, but fun. And every crochet box getting better and better from time to time. And then was a game changer for me. I bought my first crochet box on an art fair here in Frankfurt, where I were booked to demonstrate brushes for a brush company. And then I go there and thought, okay, that's the moment to find equipment for plein air painting. And on the whole fair, only one booth had stuff, and that was the guy who built the crochet box I'm using mostly now.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. That's really nice. So you did say something there which was interesting as well, though, is that you were demonstrating brushes for a company. How did that happen?
I don't know, because I don't know what you know about the German situation concerning the painting thing.
I don't.
It's completely different to your country, completely. We don't have that kind of market, not for selling art, not for buying stuff. It's completely different. I don't know how it is to study at the university art schools in England, but here most of the academies are teaching a more conceptual style of art and not the craft behind painting. And so there aren't a lot of oil painters in Germany who do the stuff like the Impressionists, like we are doing it. And so it was an Indian company who searched artists for demonstrating their oil brushes, and they asked me, and I think it's because there aren't a lot of, and they were searching for something here in Frankfurt for not paying the hotel.
That's lovely.
So, and it doesn't felt very comfortable for me, because I never paint from photos, only from life. And the subjects and the motives on the fair wasn't very interesting, many people's. And so I thought, okay, I will copy my plein air paintings to demonstrate the brushes.
That's a good idea.
Then I found out that even copying myself is horrible. I have to stand in front of my subject. It has to move. I have to have the time pressure, because if not, if I have all the time of the world to finish my painting, I took the time and I destroy it permanently. Yeah, it's horrible. I have to stop after 1.5, 2 hours, and going further, it destroys everything. I don't have the concentration for it. I don't know why.
It truly is a counterbalance to your digital work then, where
Yeah.
you surely have the opposite, where you can't do, well, you could obviously try plein air painting with a digital platform.
Yeah, I tried with the iPad. I tried, but there are problems with the light on the display. You have to, I think you have to sit under a dark tent to paint with the iPad. I think you could do nocturnes outside very well. It would be fun. But if I can choose to go outside with the iPad or my easel, the decision is clear.
No competition. It's just the easel every time.
Yeah.
Well, that is interesting though. I do find that because the time pressure is a factor with plein air painting. So how long do you allow yourself when you go out plein air painting? What time frame do you work with?
It's not about allowing myself. It's what the sun will allow, because the moving sun is the thing you have to pay attention to. So my best paintings, the paintings I think they are the best, are the quickest. Round about 1 hour is perfect. But most of the time I spend 90 minutes to 2 hours, which is a little bit silly because after 1 hour, nearly every painting I did, I could stop. But sometimes it's so nice to sit there on that location, and the motif is so beautiful. I can't say goodbye, and only a little here and only a little here. And it's very funny when I paint together with others. It's, oh yeah, I have it. I'm nearly there. And after an hour, yeah, I'm nearly there. Only this one, and everything I did after that stage doesn't make the painting better, and in contrary, it makes it worse. Often, very often. I have to stop in time. It's about the
spontaneity.
Yeah, and I think, and it's you have to let things out. If you finish a completely from edge to edge with all the details and everything you see, it's correct and it's good craft maybe, and everyone can see, oh, you're a good painter. But for the viewer, it's a little bit boring when everything is right in place and everything. You don't have to discover things by yourself because everything is explained on the canvas. And if you are in a hurry, it helps to let things out. And the more I learn, the more I can make it with a decision to let things out. But in the beginning, it was only about because of the time pressure. And now I learn more and more. I don't have to explain every part of the painting, and especially the things to the edges, they aren't important. It's only I missed the word. Kulisse? Backdrop. It's only the stage for your main subject. So if there's a tree and there's a flower, but it's all about painting the house in the middle. You don't have to paint the tree and you don't have to paint the flower. It's something green here and something colorful here, and that's enough. It's like you say to the viewer, don't go there, go here. And I'm on my way. I'm nearly not there where I want to be. And I've learned with every painting, with every workshop I give, I learn more and more how important it is to leave things unimportant. And that's time pressure is a good trick to leave things unexplained.
Well, I'm wondering now if when you say I'm not there where I want to be. Is there a place that you're getting to? Do you think that's a destination? Or do you think
Yes,
once you get there, there will be something
somewhere
beyond that?
far away.
Yeah.
I'm on my journey to the place, like every artist. I think there will be no finishing line. I don't think there is, now I'm here.
Yeah.
That will be the death of my paintings, I think.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, my goals changed too, because in the beginning I was really impressed by artists. When I have a look at it now, I think, no, that's not the way I want to paint. But in the beginning, they were heroes for me, and it changed more and more. And my direction is more and more to go in this loosely style of painting, in this really impressionistic style. And sometimes I still feel like I'm in a cage of my illustrations while painting, because I'm still an illustrator. That's my illustration still feeds me. I want to be much more free and loosely, and during one painting, I have all these stages in one painting to begin quite messy. And then there is always a stage I think, I'm really close to what I want to tell the viewer. And then I overpaint it. And it's very helpful to make videos of your painting process, not for an audience, only for yourself, because then you often see the exact moment you should have stopped. Mm-hmm. And that's my big topic. That's my big challenge, to learn when to stop my paintings.
Wow.
I can point out in every painting I ever did, I can point out when I missed the moment.
And is it always around the 1 hour mark?
Yeah.
Nearly.
Yeah.
Wow. And before that, do you walk away from the painting? Because I find that when I'm plein air painting, after 20 or 30 minutes, I'll have to walk away from the painting.
Yeah.
Because it will be too intense for too long.
Yeah.
And I need to walk away to just take a breather.
I should do it too, but I'm like in a tunnel when I am painting. I forget everything. I don't know if you feel it too. No hunger, no thirst, no pippy, nothing. I felt nothing while painting, only the painting. Yeah. That's why I can paint even when I paint snow in a forest in the winter time. It's under 0 degrees, and I don't need gloves because my hands are really warm. It's like my brain wins over my body. But when I get to the end of the painting and the painting isn't so important anymore, and my concentration, I lose my concentration, and then everything comes at once. I'm thirsty, I'm hungry, I have to go on toilet, I can't feel my fingers, I can't feel my toes, all at once. And only 10 minutes before, nothing, no problem.
Yeah.
So it's a good reminder I step away while painting every minute. I go, it's like when I paint in snow, you can see a little path between me and the easel. It goes back and forward, also 2 or 3 meters. But to go completely away from the painting, I always forget. It's a good advice. Thank you. I should do it more often.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it consciously. It's just, I think I'm so close to the painting for so long.
Yeah.
Well, it'll be about 30 minutes that I have to just put my brushes down and think I'm making a mess. I need to just walk away for a moment.
Yeah.
And just leave it. So,
yeah,
it's tricky, but
it's sometimes there are so different ways to paint for me. The good paintings, when I finished under 1 hour maybe, I recognized that I need only one Kleenex. I know exactly what I am doing. No ways around. It's like being obsessed with that painting, and the painting leads me. I don't have to know anything. I don't have to correct anything. That's the best moments. It's not very often, but when it feels amazing. And then I look. Normally, I have that bag with 20 serviettes or something full of paint. But the good paintings, I am so on point. I have still my first Kleenex at the end of the painting. And then you can see it's not only the painting, it's how the painting was born, that something was different. Yeah. It's like not only you have the plan, it's like you are led by the painting god. I don't know. It's amazing. Yeah.
Well,
not very often.
Yeah, the first painting of yours that I saw, which really just, I watched it over and over again because it was a video, I think, was you painting a pathway to the beach, and it was the shadow
with
the
the fence.
Yeah.
With the fence. That was the one and only time a reel from me get viral.
Oh, really?
It had about 2 million views.
Yeah.
That's completely overwhelming. And it was only this one reel. And in the beginning, when the Instagram, my feed exploded, the days when I was in Brittany, I thought, I have to try to do it once again, like this style, it works. But now I know I don't have to try it to get again so many clicks and views. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think it's because that's the painting. I did it the negative style to paint the negative space on a dark prime panel. And I think this was so interesting to a lot of people to the reverse technique or something. It makes something with the viewer.
Yeah.
I don't know what exactly, but I think it's not because my brilliant painting, or it's because of the technique I choose for that one.
Well, it was lovely though. I mean, I live by the beach myself. The sea is there. Mm-hmm. It's very close, So I go walking along the promenade and I go looking for similar pathways to what you painted there.
Yeah, I know that feeling exactly. To be inspired by a painting and you want to paint it by yourself, but on plein air. So you have to choose a location similar to that. And be careful, because if you are searching for a subject in your head, you will miss all the beautiful subjects around you, because you are searching for that special thing in your head, and you don't be open-minded to all the beauties around you.
Yeah. Well, I did find several other things. Exactly. Because I found a lesser version of what you painted, and I thought it's not the kind of sticks that they had for a fence. Yeah. Mine was more of a rigid fence, so it wasn't quite as charming. The sand, were beautiful. Yeah. And so instead I found something else that wasn't on the sand, and I just thought, I'm just looking for beautiful places with shadows being cast across them.
I think that's a way. I taught a workshop this summer on the island Borkum in the dunes. And for the last day, it was completely beginners in oils. And for the last day, I prepared dark primed panels for my students to do a painting this way, to only paint the light on it, the sunlit sand, the sunlit grass, and to let the hands off the shadow parts, to let the primed dark gray blue panel shine through it. And it was really interesting for me that even the total beginners, everybody made a painting quite good. It must be a kind of guaranteed success with this kind of painting to paint only the light on a dark prime panel. Everybody should give it a try because it's really satisfying. You have the result really quick in that reel. I think we'll show it here.
I will.
In that reel, you can see, I think it's after 10 minutes, you can see what it will be. Yeah. After 10 minutes. It's so easy and quick. You have to be careful if you paint on a dark primed panel. You should not thin your paints, because even when you are painting, the colors look bright enough and opaque enough, but when the painting dries, the dark ground shines through and all the colors get too dark and too dulled. So you have to paint impasto nearly from the beginning, and you have to use quite an amount of titanium white to really cover the dark primed panel.
That's interesting. Well, your beach scenes seem to have that more than others, because the majority of your paintings, I've noticed, have a great amount of luminosity to the paint, but not to the extent where it's overly saturated, because a lot of the time when people have very bright colors in their paintings, it doesn't quite look real and it doesn't really sell the beauty of nature. Whereas yours really does, and that seems to be a very skillful balance that you're doing. It's almost a tightrope between luminous colors and trying to depict, nature and reality.
I think it's about the values, as always, and you have to recognize the gray tones in everything in nature. If you, my colleague Thorsten Wolber, I want to tell something about him. This guy told me one trick, and it's a good advice. If you can't judge a color, is it more blue? Is it more greeny? Is it more reddish? Maybe it's gray. And that's it. Because if you can't see the color, if you can't judge it, there is no color. It's a gray. And you have to dare to use gray. And color mixing is one of my themes. In my workshops, there's a lot about color mixing. Even though I mix my colors quite intuitive, yeah. After a while, when I was plein air painting and I was so lonely in Germany and I was looking for others and I didn't discover something, I started to read a lot of English books and watched a lot of English tutorials about plein air painting. And I was searching for something like that in German. That didn't exist. And then I met a lecture from a publisher, and I asked her, it's a book, they have books about all painting techniques. And I asked her, do you have anything about plein air painting? And she said, no, I don't know what it is. And I told her about plein air painting, how amazing it is, and how the freedom to paint outside. And that's the biggest and most beautiful studio in the world outside. And she listened and said, no, we don't have it. And after 1 or 2 weeks, she gave me a call and asked me if I want to do a book in German language about plein air painting. And I certainly said no, because I'm a painter, I'm not an author. And then she said, you're so enthusiastic and so full of passion telling me all about what you think about plein air painting, that I wanted immediately to start painting on plein air, even though I never did a painting yet. And I think if you write a book about that topic, it will change how people will paint in Germany, because they all want to go outside. And I said, no, I can't write a book. I can't do it. And she said she will help me. And for me, that was a deal. So I thought, okay, I don't have to write it. I tell her everything I know about plein air painting. I deliver the paintings and she will write the book. It was a big misunderstanding. I signed the contract, and after that she gave me a call and told me she need a little concept page about what the book is about, if I could write it. And I said, no, I couldn't write it. It's your job. And she said, no, you have to write it. I can help you, but you have to write it. And then I thought, okay, I write it like I speak. I wrote it like I speak, because I think it's only for the marketing and it's not a book. And I wrote like I'm talking now, but in German. And when I talk German, it's much more casual than my English. It's like a little bit slangy, I think. Do you say this?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So I wrote the concept for the marketing like this. And after that, the feedback was, okay, it's fine. We can make it like this, but it's very important that the style of the speech is exactly like that concept sheet. I have to write the book like I am speaking. And so that was a deal I could deal with it. And then I wrote a book about plein air painting. Before I wrote the book, I was mixing my colors from my intuition. I thought, okay, I feel it like that, and I mix it like that. And when I wrote the book, I couldn't write in the book, okay, you can paint like this, and this is the stuff you need, and you need this equipment, and this is thinner, and about color mixing, it's all about feeling. That's not the way to write a book. So I have to work a little bit more into color theories. And that was surprisingly interesting for me, because when I read something about the color theory, it was like, yeah, you're right. You've done it all the time the right way without knowing why. And now you have the proof it's correct why you make it like this. And for me, it was mind-blowing, because now not only mixing by feeling, but to know what I am doing and to push it in the way I wanted to push it was so good for me. So I learned so much by writing my book, especially about the color mixing and everything. And now this is a main topic, even in my workshops, about the colors. I know I'm still a little bit too loud with my colors, because I think it's because of my children book illustration. They are really colorful, and so it's not easy to me to keep it a little bit lower. And when I paint in sunshine, it's really difficult not to get over it. And that's why I found out for myself, for me, it's very good to paint in bad weather conditions, with low contrast, with a lot of grays in it, because that keeps also my paintings lower in the colors and more interesting. And I sometimes think it's more for adults than for kids. You know what I mean? It's
I do.
More serious. It's more art when I paint in bad weather conditions.
Yeah, I mean, I'm naturally drawn to muted palettes, so something a bit more restful. But I was impressed by how you are able to keep vibrant colors balanced well. Now, if I can say this, once in a while, it's not very often, we have to have guests back for a second episode. And because I've got strict time constraints today, I'm going to ask you if you can tell me about your friend. I don't know if it's Torres Volker next time.
Yeah, I will. Yeah.
To come back for a part 2, because we'll do them back to back. So it'll be part 1 week and part 2 the next week. If you'll be willing to do it, because there are lots of things I still have to ask
Thank you.
And you're such a great guest. I don't want to miss out on other questions and conversation with you. So if you will do that. But for the time being, for the end of this episode, where should people go online to see your work and support you?
So the main thing is normally, like every painter, is Instagram. My account is Yuma, which means Yo Paint. I have a second account, Yo Illustrates, Yo Illustriert. I can send it to you. Then I have a website which becomes bigger and bigger with time. First, I only wanted to show my paintings, and then I wanted to show my workshops. And then I wanted to show, because I have so much questions about my equipment. I have a page only about my equipment, my easels, my paints, my everything. It becomes bigger and bigger. And on this website, you can also see my digital illustration if you are interested in it. But I didn't do much on that part of my website because my passion is painting. Then I will put it in it. I have made an Instagram account called Plein Air Malerei, which means plein air painting, because I want to spread plein air painting into Germany. And there I repost German painters which do it on plein air. And for that, I also made a website, Plein Air Malerei, and try to build up a portfolio for plein air painters. But I have to admit, it stucks a little bit. I'm not too busy with it because I don't push it very much because I want to spend my time outside.
Yeah.
These are my websites.
What I'll do is I'll make sure there's links in the description. They'll be on the screen for anyone watching, but in the description of all the audio platforms and the video platform will be links for your Instagram, for your website, for the different Instagram accounts. And we will talk about galleries, we'll talk about color palettes, we'll talk about all your materials and stories that you have with this mysterious chap whose name I don't quite know still. We will talk more about him.
So we will keep it secret until next time.
Yeah, please. But thank you so much for being a guest. It's been lovely talking to you, and I look forward to part 2.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, we hope you enjoyed that episode. If you can support the podcast by leaving a like or a comment down below, that would really be great. But what we'd really like is if you're able to leave a review on the podcast channels, wherever you listen to it or download it, because that helps us get spread around the internet so that more people have access to us and able to see what we're making.
Also follow us on Instagram, and we'd really appreciate it if you like and engage with our posts. Help get the podcast better known. Thanks for listening.